And that segues nicely into to today's talk, which is called about giving thanks. And I usually do this something about this every year around this time in acknowledgement of the holiday. And I think it's, this year maybe, our thoughts about this holiday may be changing um, in the wake of all of our beginning understanding about the terrible ravages of racism in our whole history. So I'm not going to talk about that specifically because we are going to be doing some work with racism probably, in the beginning of the new year. But I do want to talk about giving thanks in these circumstances. And some of you may remember that I usually read this poem by W.S. Merwin, who is a poet who was also a Zen student. He was a student of Robert Aiken Roshi, and he died in 2019 at the age of 91. And he was he had been a National Poet Laureate in 2010, and he has a huge body of work. So this poem is called Thanks. Listen, with the night falling, we are saying thank you. We are stopping on the bridges to bow from the railings. We are running out of the glass rooms with our mouths full of food to look at the sky and say thank you. We are standing by the water, thanking it, standing by the windows, looking out in our directions, back from a series of hospitals, back from a mugging. After funerals, we are saying thank you. After the news of the dead, whether or not we knew them, we are saying thank you. Over telephones, we are saying thank you. In doorways and in the backs of cars and in elevators, remembering wars and the police at the door and the beatings on stairs, we are saying thank you. In the banks, we are saying thank you. In the faces of the officials and the rich and of all who will never change, we go on saying thank you, thank you. With the animals dying around us, taking our feelings, we are saying thank you. With the forests falling faster than the minutes of our lives, we are saying thank you. With the words going out like cells of a brain, with the cities growing over us, we are saying thank you faster and faster. With nobody listening, we are saying thank you. Thank you, we are saying and waving, dark though it is. We've been through a dark time and we're still in a dark time. The pandemic, the corruption of our government, the environment, and the continuing climate-caused devastation, systemic racism, and on and on. And it feels like we're on a threshold, not knowing what's to come. And so I think that Merwin suggests a way, giving thanks. The great medieval mystic Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. Sometimes non-theists feel uncomfortable praying because in Zen and in the Buddhist tradition, we associate praying with actually, because we, in our heritage and our traditions, we associate praying with addressing a deity. But that's not necessary. Just say thank you, that's all. Or just say, I'm grateful. Just be grateful. Once you start, you'll see that there's so much to be grateful for. Of course, there are things that we all feel grateful for if we have them: family, friends, sun, rain, snow, clear air. But I've shared a practice with several of you that's very helpful when you're feeling helpless or upset or hopeless even. And you walk around your house or outside, let's say on a walk, and you say thank you and I love you to every single thing that you see. I love you to every single thing that you see. You can leave some things out like the mouse turds in the drawer with the nuts in it and the pasta, but it might even be possible to thank the mouse turds too for prodding you to clean the drawer that you haven't done for a long time. Every single thing has something to offer, something to teach us. And noticing the vast, even infinite multiplicity of all these things is wondrous and healing. And suddenly we realize how all of them support and sustain us so faithfully and so generously. You can start with the stars, like the novelist Marissa Meyer. She says, "I'm still thanking the stars one by one." Try it and see how it feels. Go outside at night if you are in a less light polluted area, and try thanking the stars one by one. And here's another practice that I've thought of recently. And so a few days ago, I was folding the laundry, and as I do, I like folding the laundry. And I came upon a pair of old underpants, and I thought, these are getting old and they don't really fit anymore, and maybe I should throw them away. And so as I laid them out, I looked at them and I thought, these are my good and faithful, long-serving friends, and I am grateful. So I thought about the story of the underpants, looking carefully at them. They're white cotton with light blue dots. They're bikini underpants. The edges are frayed and the elastic is loose. I bought these underpants at Costco probably somewhere between 25 and 30 years ago. And I used to buy underpants at Costco in packs of 6, different colors and designs. It was a brand called Itsy Bitsy. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with Itsy Bitsy. Can't get it anymore, unfortunately. I bought it for years. It was a really good brand, because it lasted this long. So I thought, underpants, tell me your story. And so I thought about the cotton and the seed that was planted. And without going into the origin of the seed, which really also belongs in the story, I thought about the farmer who planted the seed and how the cotton plant grew with water and sun and nutrients from the earth, and how the seed pods developed with the soft, fluffy, protective fiber around them that we call cotton, and how it was harvested and packed in bags and transported to a building where it was spun and then woven and bleached and dyed, and how in another place it was cut and sewn and packed with other underpants in packs of 6 and transported to Costco on Blackstone in Fresno, where it was bought by me. And as I thought about each step of my underpants life, I thought about the people who did each thing and their lives and their underpants and the machines and how they came to be and who built them. And I realized that my underpants are connected to the whole universe, and that I'm so grateful that they came to live with me at my house to support, protect, and help my frail human body. And then I thought about what will happen to the underpants. What will happen to the underpants if I throw them away? Will they go into, they won't be accepted by a thrift shop. Probably a good thing. Although if you send things like this to thrift shops, they move them along, and they would probably move the old underpants along into a pulp mill of some kind, where they would be mashed into pulp, and they would be separated from their elastic, whose story I haven't told today. That's a whole nother story. And so they would be pulped, and then they would be used for something else. So they would continue to live and offer their great service to others who we can't imagine, maybe. If they went to a landfill, they would gradually disintegrate and go into the earth and be subsumed into the wonderful biome of earth. We can hope anyway. And then they would find their way to supporting new life. So here's a quote from Einstein. He said, "There are only two ways to live a life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle." So think about your life and each person who makes it possible for you to live and breathe every day, and each thing that makes it possible for you to live and breathe every day. So I'm going to end with this prayer. Let us listen to the sound of breath in our bodies, which is our practice, right? Let us listen to the sounds of our own voices, of our own names, of our own fears. Let us name the harsh light and soft darkness that surrounds us. The world is big and wide and wild and wonderful and wicked. And our lives are murky, magnificent, malleable, and full of meaning. Oremos. Let us pray.